Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger was in Augusta today talking about election integrity. News Channel 6's Darnisa Jefferson has more on what voters need to know ahead of the November election.
But I also want to talk about the Election Integrity Act of 2021.
Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger focusing on election integrity during a speech at an Augusta Exchange Club meeting.
Because we're going to continue to make sure we have fair and honest elections in Georgia.
He addressed the Election Integrity Act, as well as criticism surrounding the line relief part of the law that prohibits providing food and water to people waiting in long voting lines.
We had people that were actually, coming within that 150-foot zone of no campaigning, just giving people a bottle of water, but then they're really trying to make their last-minute pitch.
In May, a lawsuit was filed to challenge line relief, allowing voting rights organizations to continue giving food and water to voters. Raffensperger says the goal of the line relief part of the law is only to cut down on political campaigning in the voting line.
151-foot water is okay, but a November race or a runoff race that you have in December, obviously it just didn't make sense. People were politicking, and that's why we put an end to that.
In 2020, some voters waited for hours in long lines on Election Day, but Raffensperger says long lines won't be a problem in the upcoming November election.
Counties have to make sure they have enough poll workers in place, enough equipment in place to keep those lines shorter than 1 hour.
A hearing for a preliminary injunction on the line relief portion of the Election Integrity Act was held last week. In Augusta, Darnisa Jefferson, WJBF, News Channel 6.